Okay, looks like we're streaming. Today we are going to fly the first leg of an alphabet challenge that I've created. I'll explain an alphabet challenge here in a second. First I want to make sure that we can describe our route, which we are going to do in for flight. So, hopefully this is working the way I think it is. It is. Good. So, we're going to fly from Strawberry Valley Estates, which is a little private strip in Utah, kind of south central Utah, to Bullfrog Basin, which is kind of due east and on Lake Powell. I'm doing this in Pilot Edge and X-Plane. I designed both of these airports. If you have the X-Plane scenery, the default scenery, I designed Bullfrog Basin. I refreshed it this morning just to make sure it was current, and then also this morning I designed Strawberry Valley, which I didn't even know it existed, but it is, it's there. It's a little residential strip, and if you want to orient yourself to Utah, Salt Lake City's up here. We're down in the southern part of the state. Strawberry Valley isn't in the scenery gateway yet on X-Plane because I haven't submitted it, but it will be. 9,500 feet. We'd go straight, but we have to fly over the pink cliffs here. Bryce Canyon National Park's right here. Maybe I should fly north so we can have a view of Bryce out the window. That'd be a good idea. Maybe we'll fly to the Bryce VOR and then over. That doesn't cost us any time, really. And we'll have a nice view of Bryce Canyon out the window, or close to it, because I can look out the right window here in the airplane with the video. Let me just update that here on my ForeFlight. Yeah, that takes no real extra time. That takes us still at 54 minutes. Okay, so up to Bryce, over Bryce Canyon Airport, past Cannon Peak, and then over top of Glen Canyon National Rec Area, and then down into Bullfrog. Alphabet Challenge, you fly airports with names or modifiers or the towns they're in from A to B, B to C, C to D, D to E, all the way through to 9. And Strawberry Valley is by Alton, Utah, and Bullfrog is B. So this would be A to B for us. So that's the idea. I picked a Cessna 172 for this stream because we'll have nice scenery, and the high wing lets us see it better. So with no further ado, let's make sure we're logged into Pilot Edge, give that a little test to make sure it's working the way it should be. Looks like it is. We can always check by talking on 123.45, and checklists, they matter. Master switch on, ignition is off, flaps extend, make sure they work. They do. Fuel selector valve is on both. Avionics power switch on. Really in the 172? Okay, if you say so. Cooling fan we can hear. Pitot heat we don't have. Lights and strobes. Let's put on our strobes so people know we're about to turn on the airplane. Windows are clean, static pressure, blah, blah, blah. Master switch is off, and then power switch off, avionics off, master switch, then tie down shocks, that's all done. Interior inspection, carpine prime, as required. Fuel pumps on, mixture full rich, throttle open 1/8 of an inch. We would yell clear prop. There we go. I may just check and see how the audio is on that. Make sure it's not too loud. Doesn't look like it's too loud. I want you to be able to hear the engine noises, but I don't want them to overwhelm me, so maybe let me know if the audio is okay if you're watching. If you're not watching, no worries. Continuing our checklist. Alternators, avionics. Flaps are up. Transponder. Squawk altitude VFR. Go ahead and put in our flight plan. That's BCE. And then U07. Okay. Look at the route, make sure it looks correct. Up to Bryce Canyon, then over to Bullfrog. Okay, cool. Do a quick radio check. Broadcasting on 123.45 and listening on 123.45. Radio check. Yep. Okay. Good. Good to see some people watching. I do like on COM2 to listen to guard, so we will do 1.5. What we would do in the real world out here. And then this place has a CTAF but no AWAS. I wonder what the closest AWAS is. Maybe Bryce? We might be able to pick up Bryce. Let's see. That's Bryce's AWAS. ASOS is 135475. Nope. So we will set our altimeter by looking at the altimeter for the strip, which is 8,141 feet. $30.45, okay. So up to Bryce and then over is the plan. Now I have to tell you guys, I'm still getting my streaming chops back. We've had a series of, I would say, unique challenges the past couple streams, but we're getting them figured out bit by bit. And we'll continue to try to improve how this stuff goes as we go. And that includes having hotkeys for the different screens I like to use. So this should be the front view. See, an F1 opens up a new tab on ForeFlight, which I don't want to have happen. So unfortunately, there's not an easy way to switch the hotkeys in this browser, but I'm sure I can figure out a way to do that. Okay. All right, enough of the breaking of the immersion. We've shown our route, and we're generally ready to go. Make sure that we got traffic on here, which we do. Pilot Edge has traffic, although there's not a lot of traffic flying around Utah on Pilot Edge. Let's see if we can hear anything. We'll go on to our Unicom frequency here, which is 122.8. (122.80) swap. For the heck of it, we'll see if we hear anything on center over the top. Would be our center here. That's a good question. Looks like Salt Lake Cedar City is on 125.575. Let's dial that in. I always forget to hit the call button on this FMS. All right. See if we hear anybody talking on Salt Lake Center. We're almost in Los Angeles Center down here. We're very close to being in that part of the cover, the Pilot Edge coverage area. But right here, Salt Lake City, Cedar City is the station over the top. Okay. If you guys have any questions, just pop them into the chat. I'm happy to answer them at any time. And yeah, I guess we'll get ready to go. So let's see here. Radios are on, flaps are up, taxi is fine, transponder sensors, yeah, once we've got, altimeter is set, test brakes, compass, everything's working. Let's turn on a fan here. We'll go down here. We're in the run-up area right now, so brakes on, doors closed and launched, primary and lock, mixture is full rich, elevator and rudder trims for takeoff. Right, up. Get up to 2,000 RPM. And then see if we lose the left mags. For some reason, it doesn't go back to both correctly. I'm gonna have to check and see what my setting is and explain that's keeping that from happening. See if we kept our flight plan. We did. Okay. I'll keep terrain, turn terrain off, and we're going to turn off the top O for now. Takeoff flap 10%. Okay, we got flaps 10. And wind. We don't know what the wind is. There's a windsock way the hell out there. I don't want to try to taxi down and see it if I don't have to. Let's see what the wind is at Bryce. Wind at Bryce is 250 at 10 to 11. Cedar City, it's 330. At Kanab, it's 'Calm. Well, it's definitely coming from that side. Our noise here are 3 and 2-1, so we will go off on 2-1. So we want to go this way. Again, I just designed this airstrip this morning. I'm going to take off and I'm going to do a low pass. Come on. You can do it. It's this dirt strip. Because I did some stuff that got the real strip has in the real world, and I want to see how it looks. I didn't even know this place existed, which is kind of fun. It's a little community, a little mountain community in Utah. And yeah, I couldn't get the runway exactly right because the runway in the real world curves, sort of shaped like this. It's bent, it's got a bend in the middle. And all the runways in X-Plane are straight, but I was able to get it close enough. It also seems to have put a house down here at the end. There's our windsock. And yes, we've got a wind coming down the pipe, so we picked the right side. Huh, I wonder why I put that house right there. I'll have to go make an exclusion zone around that, because there's a little concrete runway 21 number that house is sitting directly on. But you can just sort of barely see. Right, I want to be able to look at that side of the strip, so we'll take off, turn around this way. What's traffic here? Is it right or left? I wonder if it says. Let's look at the chart. Does not say. Well, we'll make right traffic to get a look at the scenery and see how it looks out the side window. And we'll go from there. Turn our landing lights on so we're visible. Nav lights are on. Pre-takeoff checklist. Okay. Yeah, Buck. I've upgraded the sim quite a bit in the past 3 or 4 years since I sort of stopped broadcasting. And mostly to make it look like the Cirrus I was flying in the real world. Okay, we've got check runway heading. We're on the right runway. Traffic. None. Strobes are set. Flaps are set. Trim is where we want it. Carb heat is off. Mixture is rich above 3,000 feet. All right, so we will call on the CTAF. Let's make sure we've got that right frequency, 125.575. Nope, that was Salt Lake approach over the top you were trying to listen to. 122.8. All right. Strawberry Valley traffic, Cessna 15 Juliet Golf is 21 taking off right downwind departure to the north, or to the east, Strawberry Valley. All right, here we go. Airspeed's alive, engines are in the green, RPM is expected on the center line. 50% takeoff by 50%. Until we're at 8,000 feet, we're using a lot of runway. Here we go, X. Positive rate, flaps are coming up. Does not like to climb. Leave it a little bit, get a little more power. Yeah, 8,500 feet in a hot day, you can tell. Get a little more altitude here. Then we'll turn and take a look at the runway, the airport. Get ourselves trimmed here for climb. Huh, wonder why I did that. Ooh. Yeah, that's stall horn. Ooh, turn this way. Strawberry Valley traffic, Cirrus Cessna 15 Juliet Golf is actually making a left downwind turn. Then we're going to turn and fly over the top of the strip, Strawberry Valley. There we go. Now we got some airspeed going. So there's this strip down there. I clearly have some key bindings or something on here that made that view change. I can see some balloons out there in the distance. Explains a little nutty on the balloons. And I get that. It's cool to have some balloons, but there's always balloons. See some out the window there. Okay, we'll take a look at the strip here and see how things look. See where I spelled out Strawberry Valley, that looks good. CTAF frequency. Yeah. Looks alright. Windsock with the tires around it. And then that house at the end of the runway that I gotta fix. Okay. Alright. Strawberry Valley traffic. Cessna 15 Juliet Golf, last call. Off to Bryce Canyon VOR for us, and we gotta crawl our way up to 9,500 feet. Now, we were just flying visual. We would follow that road that we just passed. Cubs win, good to see you. Yes, map enhancement plus SimHaven, that's exactly what I'm using. That's exactly right, Cubs. So, 35, to see, I didn't get X, Z, Q, so 32 flights in the Utah Alphabet Challenge that we're going to do. And this is the first. It's pretty interesting. I actually asked AI to do it. I said, here's the challenge, see if you can figure it out. And it did a pretty good job of coming up with an alphabet challenge, but Here's a bunch of airstrips it didn't find, even though I did deep research. So I basically had it commissioned Claude AI to do a deep research project to identify all strips, including backcountry strips in Utah, and then I used that to get a very complete list, and then sort of spend some time figuring out where the best routes would be, so I didn't go back and forth too much with the same route, and this is what we ended up with. So this is the first of several. Thank you. I will try to avoid my flight. Come up to 9,500. Back out of the power a little bit. And if we are at 9,500, we should be pretty good on altitude. Okay. Get a little more performance than that. 90 knots is awfully slow. Just don't want to redline it. And then we can actually do this. Doesn't do engine assist. That's okay. We can just figure it out and be a little lean a peak.
Automated weather observation, Bryce Canyon.
There's Bryce.
Wind 250 degrees, 10 knots. Visibility more than 10 miles. No significant cloud. Temperature 18. Dew point 4. Altimeter 3039er.
3039er. Okay.
Automated weather observation, Bryce Canyon. Wind 250 degrees, 10 knots. Visibility more than 10 miles. No significant
Alright, let me switch back to guard.
Temperature 18. Dew point 4. Altimeter 3.
There you go. Oh, I just heard somebody on guard. And then here, let's see, 125575.
Temperature 8.
We could ask for advisories. Where are we going? We're going to U07, Bullfrog Basin. Tell them that we're 9 miles southwest of the Bryce VOR. Salt Lake Center, Cirrus, Cessna 15 Julie Golf, VFR request. I don't know if I've got the right center frequency or not. I haven't heard anybody, so probably not. Let's see what they list for Bryce. 133.6, let's try that.
The 15 Juliet Golf, Salt Lake Center, go ahead.
We're about 6 miles southwest of the Bryce VOR 9,500. We'd like advisories to Uniform 07 Bullfrog Basin.
No, 15 Juliet Golf, walk 5766.
5766, 15 Julie Golf. Always good to have somebody watching
So
you.
150 off radar contact 7 miles southwest Bryce Canyon VOR, altimeter 3038. Maintain appropriate free for altitudes. And yeah.
Okay, 38 stay VFR, thanks. She's great. She's been controlling for Pilot Edge for a long time. She was really, really good. Early in my flight training, before I got my instrument rating, I was practicing the I ratings on Pilot Edge, and I did the I4 or something, and I failed it. She was just so kind, basically saying, well, you know, you were doing fine until you got to X, and then when you got to X, you did Y, and then when you did Y, you didn't do Z, and then you know, if you're, like when you're getting started with instrument stuff, it's like, it seems like there's a lot, and it's easy to get yourself kind of lost and confused, and I was lost, confused, and dazed. And she was great about it. Keith Smith employs a first-class group of people at Pilot Edge, and if you're considering any kind of real-world flight instruction or getting your pilot's license in the real world, I think Pilot Edge is a no-brainer. Let's look at our cruise checklist while we're cruising. Power set. Elevator trim is set. Make sure it's leaned. Altimeter set. Okay, we're good. Okay, we're coming to the Bryce VOR. We're going to kind of shoot this gap here. Panguitch Municipal is out there. I think it's on the list. And this road up here takes us through kind of sort of where Bryce is. Hope that looks okay. I spent some serious time this morning trying to figure out more math around the views and to get them right. And I think it's looking pretty good. It looks good in the sim. I went so far as to measure my eye point, which is 49 inches above the ground. And then with that measured, worked hard to get the horizon at exactly 49 inches above the ground, and then I did the same on the side monitors, so the horizon was exactly the same across all of them. And I used the offsets in X-Plane to do that. And then from the eye point, like everything really looked great in terms of how it lined up and everything else. Mostly because I just want the stream to look good. We're sort of cutting the corner here. The VOR is right over there, on top of that mesa. Uh-oh. We just crashed. No, we didn't. That was good. That was close. I've had no problems really with X-Plane 12.2. It's been really, really stable. So if it's doing something like that, I have to believe it's a Windows issue. And generally, if I believe the computer's doing something strange, it's usually a Windows issue. But yeah, I'm seeing weird stuff happen over on this side. My frames just tanked over here. Now they're back. All kinds of weird stuff's happening on this side monitor. Seems to be losing its connection to the main sim. There we go. Now it's got it back. Strange. You know, the more complex a system, the more fragile it is. All right, Bryce Canyon Airport is right there. You can sort of see it. And Ruby's Inn is below us, and then Bryce Canyon National Park is over here. We're going to climb, kind of fly right over the edge of it. I'm still getting a really weird loss of connection over on this. Sometimes I find that if there's a problem with the internal network, things can be weird, although these two PCs are actually talking directly to each other through an Ethernet cable, so there should not be a whole lot of that. But you never know. We're going to fly right over the north end. There's the airstrip right down there, and there's Ruby's Inn. Spend any time in Capitol Reef or Bryce Canyon, you know what we're talking about. If you know, you know. Is that a Kindle to my upper left? Upper left. Right here? That's an iPad. It's an iPad mini. It's the one I used in real flying. It's got ForeFlight on it, which is my electronic flight bag, and it talks to the sim and it talks to Pilot Edge. It pulls in traffic, does all kinds of stuff. It's cool. Yep, so there's Bryce Canyon Airport right down there. I think I designed that one too. I got into a phase where I decided I wanted to design a whole bunch of Utah airports for X-Plane. My old man was a intern, not an intern, a summer docent, I guess you'd say, at Bryce Canyon. This would have been in the 1940s and 50s. 1950s, I guess, when he was in high school and college. And he would do tours, was a tour guide. It's pretty rustic now. It was definitely rustic back then. He's got some pretty crazy stories, including making a run to Vegas overnight, having the night free, getting off work at 5, driving to Vegas. Vegas was not Vegas in 1952. At least it wasn't the Vegas we know. And raising hell with buddies. We'll take a look at Bryce. Obviously, we don't get the topography in Bryce like you really get in the sim. That's just not enough resolution of the topography to make it really sing. But you got to get a feel for it. Also, the Apple maps are the maps I picked with map enhancement, and they're not very vivid. They're a little washed out, but because that's all bright orange in the real world. So, you know, you figure it out. You know, strikes and gutters, as the dude would say. Nice view of the Utah distance, though. Utah in the distance, we're looking down at ultimately way down to the Kaibab Plateau, Kaibab Range. Way down there, and then eventually you're looking down to the Grand Canyon, Mineral Canyon, way out there in the distance. If you look far enough. All right, back out the front. Got some serious altitude up here, 8,000 feet, 7,000 feet. Peaks are 9.3. Says we should clear them. It's a little skinny though. Gotta say, it feels a little skinny to me. Huh? Says we're okay. Trust your system. I'm just hand flying. It's good practice. Of course, if you watch the stream of SimVenture going into Oshkosh on Pilot Edge, which was amazing, or if you watch the Utah backcountry flight that I did with him, Gonzo, my 6,000 hour buddy, in multiple platforms, he's like, you're stupid to not just use pilot, to just reduce your workload and use the autopilot whenever you can. Well, there's something to be said for that. So I buy that, especially if you're IFR, but sometimes it's good to keep your hand on the airplane and practice holding speed and altitude. Flying with real world weather, so it's a nice day in Utah. The weather engine in X-Plane 12 is really great. Boy, with ortho scenery, you can fly VFR just so easily. Like, you just look at that. Awfully easy to follow a riverbed or a road when you can see stuff out the window like that. Canaan Peak down here, 9,300 feet on the one side, and the other side, Barney Top. This is the Escalante Mountains. Escalante is a pretty remarkable part of Utah. The Escalante National Wildlife, I guess it's a monument, national monument. It's about the size of Vermont. And gives you a sense of how much territory there is in Utah that's pretty spectacular. Escalante is huge, and then on top of that, you've got 5 national parks, Bryce Canyon being one of them. And then Lake Powell, where we're headed, has more coastline than the west coast of the United States when you add it all up. So all the visual alignment work I put in, I'll be interested to see. I'll get back out of the way a little bit here so I can see how the horizons look. Everything should look pretty. Oh, my butt kicker's really going. I like having the butt kicker because I like feeling vibration of the airplane. But it was really rattling. Anyway, the horizons, the goal is to have them be really well put together, and it looks good. The other thing is to make sure that things appear and disappear from the view at the appropriate time. And boy, that does look good. Let's do a couple banks here so I can see how that looks. It loses the horizon after a little bit, but it holds it really pretty good. You know, sometimes when the alignment isn't right, when you make a bank, the horizon bends. Doesn't look right. Oh, but that looks great. So a fair amount of math and trigonometry, none of which I did myself, all of which I had AI do. But I really wanted to, if I was going to stream, I want it to look really great. I don't want it to look poorly. Yeah, that looks good. Little altitude warning there, getting away from my range. 200 feet off. I'm just looking on the stream to see how the graphics look. And they look solid. The sim's held up pretty well. You know, it's 10 years old. And some of this stuff is getting a little ratty, but I gotta tell you, the pain in the ass associated with rebuilding this stuff is significant enough that I'm willing to live with it and compromise some of the visuals. Mostly, I just wanted it to feel like I was on an airplane. When I first built it, I wanted it to look like I was in an airplane. But I really wanted it to feel like one, especially for flight training purposes. And it does. Especially when the buttonology is the same, like this is the exact same navigation panel setup that you would have in the Cirrus that I was flying. It's a Perspective Plus system running G1000s as this FMS, this bolster panel here. And I get the buttonology right matters. Having a sim that lets you have the same buttonology is great. And some excellent places that provide them for sale, but I decided to just build the whole thing. Also, none of those places existed when I built this thing 10 years ago. Okay, so how are we doing here? We're about 25 minutes en route. Let's do a quick terrain check. We're good all the way to Bullfrog. I can show this screen. It's something I'm able to do. If you guys would like to see it, I can display it. Maybe tell me your preferences if you like it or not. And if it's large enough to be worth seeing. So I'll leave it on for a little bit. You guys tell me what you think, if you like having that nav system display or not. That's Escalante Airport coming up here, L17 or 1L7. Escalante Muni. Might as well dial in U07 here. Bullfrog Basin. Interesting, it has us coming in on the grass strip. We're not going to come in on the grass strip, we're going to come in on the paved strip. You see that you can toggle here the two runways. That's the one we want. Its CTAF is 122.8 also, which we also have dialed in. A little off our route here. We're going to fly just past the south end of Capitol Reef National Park here when we get down there, which runs almost all the way to Lake Powell. Way in the distance we have a couple mountains we can see. Those are the Henry Mountains out there. Way past that, you've got LaSalle's. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad, does it? With the, I guess you can see it, especially if you zoom in. You can see the GPS. Anyway, if you have a chance to weigh in, if you're watching live or watching after the fact, maybe weigh in and let me know if that's a keeper, or if that's a ditcher, or if that's a do it every once in a whiler. Doing great on fuel. About every 15 minutes you do a check route, check the plane, check the pilot, check the passengers. So far, I'm feeling fine. Guide power, what's plateau? Is this plateau right over here? I'll turn so you can see it. That's Navajo Mountain way down there in the distance, that big, tall, round mountain. And then you can see the shelf of the plateau. Not like we're really looking at the scenery in the real world, but it's still better than nothing. I grew up in Utah, and it's still amazing to me how much of Utah I have never seen. Like, there's so much space between spaces. You can spend a whole bunch of time running around one part of this place and never even see the vast majority of the rest of it. Okay, we're about 20 minutes out now. Escalante Muni is just off our wing. Escalante's a funky little town. Take that, then you go up to Boulder. Over the top of Boulder Mountain, which is this giant uplift in the earth that has a huge amount of wildlife on it. You can sort of see it coming into view here. This giant thing here is Boulder Mountain. Really impressive. You get up on top of that, it's got a lava cap across the whole thing. It was never a volcano so much as it just sort of oozed out. So we're looking right at Escalante, and then you go up and over the top of Boulder. Boulder is one of the last places in the 48 lower U.S. states to get telephone service. You go over the top of Boulder Mountain, you're in Torrey, Utah, Capitol Reef National Park. Really beautiful part of the world. That drive is incredible. Highway 24, I think. Might be wrong. Past the Henry mountains. All right, once we get over the little mountain range, it gets us into Glen Canyon. Then it's pretty quick descent. It's only like 7 miles to Bullfrog. Bullfrog does not have a weather, doesn't have ATIS, so we'll probably make a pass of the strip. Cow Black Memorial is nearby at Hall's Crossing. It has an AWAS, so we'll dial into that. 134.375. Let's get that put in on COM2. What did I say it was? 134.375. Nothing yet, but we'll pick up its weather and then we'll be ready to make an approach. Probably going to be coming in on 19er with crosswind, but we'll see. And then we'll have this first leg of the challenge done. Boy, you can really see Navajo Mountain down there. It's a pretty impressive, you can just see it here. It's very impressive. It just sort of comes out of the desert. And as I understand it, it was a sacred place to the Navajo tribes. And then just down past that, you get down into Monument Valley, Four Corners, that part of the world. Monument Valley's on the Alphabet Challenge, so I'll be streaming that flight there at some point.
Air 15 Julie Golf, contact Denver Center 118.57.
11857, 15 Julie Golf. So it's the 15 Juliet Golf checking in 9,500.
15 Juliet Golf, Denver Center. Thank you. Page altimeter 3016.
3016, thanks. That's a much lower pressure than we had before. It's also part of the altitude difference, I'm sure. Okay. So let's start planning descent. Bullfrog is 4,167 feet. We're going to have to lose about 5,500 feet, 500 feet a minute. That's going to be 11 minutes, which means we'd really start our descent about, halfway out, but we got to be at 6,000, we got to be at about 7,500 feet to cross those cliffs. So we'll still start our descent about the time we reach the Escalante River, and then we'll keep it at 7,500 over the cliffs, and then we'll just bleed off the rest. Do I rest my arm when stick flying? Nope. It's nice. In the real Cirrus, there is a armrest, and you can rest your arm on it. But I haven't put one in the cockpit. Gosh, maybe I should. That'd be a good idea. See if I can find one of those on eBay for a reasonable price. Watch our climb here. And then, yeah, then I'd have somewhere to rest my arm. But it's not my arm that bugs me, it's my back. these chairs, I found some really narrow chairs for the sim, which are great. The old ones were these kind of big office chairs. They were, I thought they would be comfortable, but they really were not very comfortable. And then I found these, and they're great because they're narrow. They fit into the between. Since I built this center panel, I don't have nearly as much room as I used to between the knees for two people in here. Yeah, thank you for the warning. I'm having trouble getting trimmed the way I want to be trimmed here. Now would be a good time. You're getting a little fatigued. Now would be a good time to use the autopilot. So we'll do that in real world here. We'll get ready. Flight director on. Move the altimeter. Move the vertical speed down to 200 feet a minute, and we'll go nav autopilot on. We'll let it take us down and capture us at 9,500 feet. We'll take a little of the load off. Yeah, you made a home stick for your sim armrest can be better control. I'd be interested, Ian, to hear about your home stick. Is it a side stick? I may have to build one because I can't find one. Noble, I got an email today from Noble Flight Simulations who built this one, and they're on their way to Oshkosh, and I was going to email them and see if they would configure and sell me one for the right-handed stick, but they don't even sell these individually anymore. It looks like they just sell their packages. But I would really like to have a side stick. I would have gotten the real sim gear, but it's too long to fit into the space. The Noble just fits. And I have room where I can put one over here, but they're expensive. So I'm kind of hoping that Noble would have something that was, they couldn't get rid of, or odd lot. Open box. Do you have any open box right-handed side sticks hanging around? If not, I might have to make one. Making one, though, feels like a project that's, like, I was proud of myself just for figuring out how to get this flaps handle work. Figuring out that you can buy, you can buy these sticks on eBay from Cirrus aircraft, and if you were going to make your own stick, use the real thing, but they're really pricey online. So I just have that Thrustmaster working over there, and it works well enough. Looks good on you, though. Okay, we're coming up to the Escalante River. This is where we're going to start our descent down to, well, let's call it 70. I want to keep myself 1,000 feet, so let's call it 8,000, just to be safe. Get that bugged. And we can start that gentle descent. I'm going to tell, who are we talking to, Denver? To the top of us. I'm just going to say center. Center, Cessna 15 Juliet Golf is going to descend 8,000. It's always good to tell them.
Roger.
And when you start not doing what they think that you're going to do, they're not surprised. Okay. So then we come over this rise. You can actually see Lake Powell right here. When we come over this rise, wow, that's a cool view out the side window right there. You can see the plateau, and then going down to Navajo Mountain. That looks really cool. Those canyons look really real with the ortho. Wow. That is cool. We'll come over that baby, and then see if I haven't been able to get Cal Black yet. 134.375. Probably because I have to swatch it over off of guard. That tends to help.
Temperature 28, 2.8. Altimeter 3026. Advise on initial contact. You have information. Foxtrot.
You guys able to hear that okay?
Automated weather observation. Bullfrog Basin. Wind 280 degrees, 7 knots. Visibility more than 10 miles. Sky clear. Temperature 32.7. Altimeter 3024.
Okay. 3024, 280.7. So, 280.7, yeah, we're going to come in on 19er. Yeah, okay. Let's get that heading bugged. Capturing, coming to it. Go down a little faster. Then we'll tell her when we have the field in sight, and then we're going to switch over to the CTAF there, which is 122.8. Let's get that bugged. Bullfrog Basin. Let's see, Ian says...
Attention all aircraft. Altimeter 3031.
Okay. Not quite sure where that came from, but all right. I'm still talking to her on 118.575, but maybe it came over, I don't know. Weird. You would not want mine. It is a side stick made up from an old Sci-Tech yoke and a joystick handle which you replaced. Gotcha. Well, I'll have to look into it. That's why Escalante Wilderness area is so incredible. All these little slot canyons. It's really cool. Okay, do I have the field? I'm looking. Here's the marina. Let's see. That coming up there. It should be right in front of us. I don't quite see it yet. But it's right on top of this plateau, basically. Okay. So we'll overfly the strip and then we'll make left-hand traffic. Don't quite have it, but we will soon enough. I think I'll tell her here as soon as we get over these cliffs. I have to say I miss flying in the real world, but no real regrets about the decision. Go ahead and turn off the GPS view. I never switched back. Sorry about that. Okay, we've got the field now. Center 15 Juliet Golf has Bullfrog.
Operator services terminated. Squawk 25 for speed change crew stop safe landing.
Go to VFR. Thanks for your help. Yep. Okay. Let's check the weather one more time.
Hell Black Memorial Information Foxtrot 1640 Zulu. Arriving runway 19er. Departing runway 19er. Wind 280 degrees 6 knots. Visibility more than 10 miles. No significant cloud. Temperature 28. Dew point 8. Altimeter 3026. Advise on initial contact. You have information Foxtrot.
Okay. We'll switch over to the CTAF. Where are we? We are 8 miles due west. Bullfrog traffic, Cessna 15 Juliet Golf 8000. 8 miles due west. We're going to overfly the field and then make left traffic into 19er Bullfrog. Okay, taking off the autopilot. Ah, okay, I see the airport. I think that's it right there. That should be right in front of us. Oh, I got it. It's right here. Okay. Let's get ready with our descent checklist. Carb heat on as required. We don't have carb heat on this aircraft. Mixture rich. Got the ATIS. We're going to go check the wind. I'm always trying to visualize what I'm going to do, so that airport is at 4,100, so we want to bug 5,100 for altitude. Lake Palsher looks cool. I'm just going to give us a quick view here. Quick steep turn view. There's the Henrys. That way up toward Capitol Reef National Park. A little bit of a stutter in that. Again, I wonder if I've got a something downloading. Because I've got nice solid frames. Frames are 65. Down in Navajo Mountain. Bullfrog Marina. This is all dry now. The lake is down so much in the real world. But so it goes. There's our airport. Get ourselves trimmed. Port speeds. Final approach 60 to 70. Approach 65, 70, 70. Call it 70 and 65. Okay. Bullfrog traffic, Cessna 15 Juliet Golf, 2 miles west. We're going to overfly the field at 1,000 feet AGL and then make left downwind for 19er Bullfrog. There's our airport. Our windsock is not sure. I don't have the Jeff's chart in front of me. Okay, here we are, 5100. Windsock is, I don't know, we'll take a look out the side window and see if we can see it. Bullfrog traffic, Series 15 Juliet, Cessna 15 Juliet Golf is over the top of the field. Getting ready for left downwind into 19er, Bullfrog. There's the windsock. Yeah, looks like it's 19er's right field. It's going to be a little bit of a right crosswind. Okay. We've lost some altitude, lost a couple hundred feet. I got sloppy. So we're going to fly teardrop. So we will set ourselves up here. Get some of that altitude back. Set them out of practice. And for teardrop, I usually would just put a couple miles between me and the strip. Then I'd make a call. There we go. Get ourselves up to proper altitude. Bullfrog traffic, Cessna 15 Juliet Golf making teardrop entry for 45 into left downwind for 19er, Bullfrog. Okay, we're roughly on a 45 here. Lights are on, undercarriage is set, fuel selectors on both tanks. Oil's good, carb heat, don't have it. Landing lights are on. Bullfrog traffic, Series 15, Cessna 15 Juliet Golf is ending left downwind for 19er, Bullfrog. I've been a Cirrus for so long, I don't know how to say Cessna. Okay, there we go. First flaps. And Bullfrog traffic, Cessna 15 Juliet Golf, ending left base, 19er, Bullfrog. Quick peek. Turn towards the numbers. Bullfrog traffic, 15 Juliet Golf is turning final for 19er, Bullfrog. Full flaps. That was a sloppy pattern, actually. Bullfrog traffic, 15 Juliet Golf going around. We can do better than that. There's a road right next to it. It can be confusing. At the angle I had, I thought I was looking at the strip. I think I was looking at the road. Bullfrog 15 Juliet Golf, going around, making left downwind for 19er Bullfrog. Nice view though. Yes, I'm simulating a 172, that's right. At the moment, I wanted just better view out the windows. Bullfrog traffic, 15 Juliet Golf, left crosswind 19er Bullfrog. Yeah, that whole thing was sloppy. Teardrop was sloppy. The crossfield was sloppy. It was all just sloppy. But this is why we practice. A lot easier if you just make standard rate turns, 7-degree climbs, just fly like your IFR all the time. Okay, there's my airport. It's about halfway up the strut, which is where I want it to be. Got a 10 knot crosswind here, so we need to adjust for that for a little bit. Okay, this is looking better now. Now midfield. Bullfrog traffic, 15 Juliet Golf, midfield, downwind, 19er, Bullfrog. First flaps. The numbers. Right about. Yeah. Start going downhill. Cirrus, I used to count to like 7, and then I know it was time to make my base leg. This plane's a little slower. It's kind of hard to judge where your 45 is. It's about there. Bullfrog traffic, 15 Juliet Golf, turning left base, Bullfrog. Full flaps. Bullfrog traffic, 15 Juliet Golf, turning left final, 19er, Bullfrog. About 60 knots, which is about where I want to be. That's a little too slow. There we go, this is looking better. Yeah, nice stabilized approach. I don't remember putting that fence in there like that. Must be the upper boundary. I'll have to take that out of the scenery. That's distracting. All right. Well, that was fun. Got to go take that fence out of the scenery. This pavement looks good. All right. Well, that was a scenic flight, all things considered. Sorry about the go-around, but it was necessary. You don't like the approach, go around. Rule number 1. Okay. Next flight. Next flight in the challenge is going to be from here to Cache Valley Airport. That's all the way up in the northern part of the state. That's going to require the Cirrus SR-22, I think. So we're here at Bullfrog Basin, and if we go from U7 to, what is that, Logan is KLGU, if I remember? Yeah, KLGU. Basically the southern part of the state to the northern part of the state. 260 nautical miles. Up over Hanksville, Capitol Reef National Park. Cut across those mountains. Then we'll go on that side, the east side of the Wasatch, so we don't have to deal with the Salt Lake Bravo. And then into Logan. That'll be a fun flight. So, I hope to see you then. And thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. And if you have any feedback, questions, anything else, just put them in the comments, and I'll try to get to them as soon as I can. Everybody stay